extra level of excitement with playing in Texas?
Definitely. I think just anytime you get a chance to play in Jerry's world and play against some of your former teammates and just guys that you know from recruiting, it's always a good time.
You're part of this rotation now. The standard has been set.
Yeah.
It's a tough position, but obviously a glamorous position. How have you adapted to it? How do you think you've played so far?
Like the standard's been set. Standard is first round, obviously, and I think so far this season, every single week we've just been taking steps and getting bigger, getting better, and I'm excited to see what step we take this week against a really talented group of receivers.
If you talk about that challenge, what kind of challenge? They've got some good receivers.
Yeah, they got some speed, but at the end of the day, I think we have some speed as well.
Jeff, you've heard Coach Schiano talk a number of times about how Jordan can be an eraser for you guys back there at safety. From a player's perspective, are you able to play with more confidence when you know he's back there? How does that affect you guys, maybe in front of him?
I think he definitely gives you confidence, just because you have an experience back there, captain, and someone that he's played in a lot of big games. So just having him back there, you kind of have a sense of confidence.
You guys feel that? You notice the difference when he's out there?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you get a little extra juice from playing in that venue you talked about? You guys have been there.
Oh yeah, because I played there obviously last year against USC, and on top of that, I played there twice in high school. So going there is always a fun time.
Their quarterback Robinson, what are your impressions of him so far, whether he's a passer and a runner?
Oh, Sean's one of my good friends. We went to DeSoto High School. We played him in football. I think he's a really elusive runner. He has a good arm. He can throw the ball really down the field, and I'm really excited to get a chance to talk some noise to him on the field.
And you're going to be covering a lot of passes, obviously, but talk about running. Playing against a running quarterback as well. I mean, he can do both, obviously, but just that threat that he brings from a running perspective.
Well, in our defense, we try to when we get a running quarterback, we have to we call it plastering onto our man, just so those running quarterbacks, they can get out of the pocket and still be able to deliver a strike down the field. So our job is to stay on our man and not allow those big plays.
How would you describe their offense, Jeffrey? What they like to do, et cetera? They're a little bit like you guys, a little bit, aren't they? I mean, but just what do you see when you watch them on video?
I think when you look at the offense, it's really comparable to a lot of the Big 12 offenses as far as spreading the ball around the field. Not really one receiver that they go to, but an array of receivers. So, it means everyone across the board on defense has to be ready to do their job.
You know that Turpin guy, the guy that took the punt back last week against SMU and stuff, he looks extremely fast. He's 5'9", about 159 pounds. Obviously, he had a big pass catch last week, too, and stuff. What just jumps out at you when you watch him on video?
He's really elusive, probably one of the most elusive players I've seen on film. I think he's kind of comparable to maybe Darren Sproles or someone like that, but I think as far as gunner-wise, I'm excited to be able to get down the field and then see what he's all about.
What's the key to playing a guy like that? You know he's pretty quick and fast, but he's small, but what's kind of the key there?
Guys like that, they like space, so I think our job is to take all the space out.
When you say you're going to bring the noise against Sean, do you mean that metaphorically, or are you going to trash talk him?
No, we're going to have a little friendly trash talk during the game, just because we know each other.
Is the trash talk any different when it is a friend as opposed to someone you don't know? I mean, you could get extra personal, or you could keep it lighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you could really dig the knife in deep if you wanted to, I imagine.
Yeah, obviously when it's your boy, you never get too personal, just because, at the end of the day, you still respect each other as players, as individuals.
What's your record in those 3 games there? Do you know?
3 games, 1-2, but the one came in college, so it's all good.
You were hurt in the spring.
Yeah.
How long did it take you to come back from that? And given the competition at corner, were you concerned that might set you back far enough that it would be hard to win a job in the rotation?
Not necessarily. When I hurt my shoulder, I knew that I had, in order to have a good season this year or to be able to compete, I'd have to get my shoulder repaired on. So, I sat down with Coach Mick and then the medical staff, and they let me know that would probably be the best decision to make. So, as far as competition, every day is competition regardless. So, I knew that regardless if I got the shoulder surgery or not, it's to be competition.
You have labrum? Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was a labrum.
Okay.
Jeffrey, you go against JK sometimes in practice. I think tackling or whatever, but what's different about him this year compared to last year? What do you see that's different about his game? Obviously, we're getting to see him and Mike every other series, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell that he's more of an experienced guy now. He's kind of learned the ropes, and it's kind of cool to just watch his development from the defense side of the ball.
Yeah, and when you say he's learned the ropes, what, he has some tricks up his sleeve now? What are you talking about there?
He's developed as a threat out the backfield as far as catching passes down the field, and as well as a pass blocker. His pass pro has really gotten better.
Can you put in perspective for folks how many big-time football players are in and around where you grew up in the Metroplex there? Is it crazy? I mean, you know what I mean? And did TCU come after you very hard?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, like I know when I was a freshman, I had to block Myles Garrett on the punt team. That didn't go too well, but like just playing. I mean, playing in Texas in that area that I grew up in, you can go against some of the top talent in the state every single day. I know we played Dontre Wilson. We played a lot of guys.
Yeah. Did you actually go against Sean Robinson? I mean,
yeah. Senior year we played head to head.
Yeah, head to head.
Yeah.
And what was he like? He was a what? What was he? What year was he in?
He was a senior and I was a senior.
Yeah.
We're the same recruiting class.
And what was he like? What was he? What do you remember from him on the high school field?
I think the offense he played in high school is really comparable to the one he plays in right now. And as far as going a lot of empty, spreading the ball around, getting it out quick, taking shots, and a lot of read option.
And a lot of people say when he actually pulls it down and runs, he's more like a running back. Do you agree with that? I mean, he runs more like a running back than a quarterback.
Yeah, because I mean Tate. I mean, him and Tate are both kind of guys that can run the ball, but Sean kind of has a more sturdy frame.
Yeah.
So when you go in Sean, he has the option to put his shoulder down and try to run you over, as opposed to just trying to shake you and go out of bounds, something like that.
Yeah.
Jeff,
A couple more questions for Jeffrey.
why was Ohio State able to come into Texas in your class in particular and get 3 guys of the caliber of you, Barron, and J.K. and get them to come here?
I think their reputation really preceded them as far as having guys in my position with Garyon, Marshawn, Eli, Roby, and for J.K. obviously you have Zeke. You have just a history of great running backs, and for Barron, you have the Shaziers, McMillans, Darren Lees, and all that. So when you see that, even being in Texas, it kind of is appealing to just want to be one of the next guys in line.
And I know you're not all from the same part of the state, but what was your, I guess, feel for the reaction down there when 3 of the top 6 players in the state decide to come up here?
I was definitely happy just because you don't have to worry about getting homesick because you kind of feel like you brought a part of home with you to Ohio. But it would have been really nice to get Marvin Wilson and make it forward.
Jeff, you and Sean Wade came in together. He obviously didn't get to play last year. He had a big game on Saturday. What was that like for you to see him out there finally? And then what can he add to this game?
It made me really happy just because knowing that he had to go through last year with that injury, which is really unfortunate, and just to see him back on the field and making plays. I mean, I guess as someone that's in your recruiting class and your unit, you can't be any happier.
Is that what he does in practice too?
Sean? Yeah, he's a guy that gets around that football a lot.
Yeah, Jeff, in the first game, you got 2 defensive pass interference calls.
Yeah.
When you watched on video, were they small things, or how much did that disappoint you that you got called for those 2?
I mean, I was disappointed just because going all through camp, I didn't get called for pass interference. So just getting 2 in that short time span was a little bit discouraging. But after I watched it on film, got coached up by Coach Shiano, I think it's things that were easily fixable and that will be easy to avoid down the line.
And what do you think you have to do? What's the next stage in your development?
I would say trusting my eyes. I think all the physical intangibles are there as far as speed, all that stuff, and really trusting my shoulder again.
You mentioned
Dan, last question.
You
over
mentioned
here.
Sean Robinson having a sturdier frame. Does having experience going against JT Barrett in the past, does that help in terms of preparing for a guy like Sean?
I want to say JT wasn't as elusive as Sean was in the open field as far as this, because Sean, I mean, if you watch his high school tape, you see spin moves, you see jukes in there. So it's kind of like maybe even you could say a stockier Lamar Jackson kind of player. And I think JT, he had a running element, but it wasn't just that elusive, but it still was a threat. So, I mean, JT kind of gives you that feel, but I wouldn't compare it just like that.
Jeffrey, thank you very much.
Thank
You never said if you or Sean won that matchup.
Oh, no, they got us.